This is my map art wall, and I have a problem with it. If I go back to an old save, this was supposed to be it. Just a temporary thing while I built a more permanent area for them to go. But let's see how that permanent area is going.
Don't let your kids watch it!
So I actually wanted to make this more like my main base here and build a big museum in that spot, but it's just died from scope creep. And now that the wall is full again, instead of just making it longer, I'm going to build one of the oldest suggestions, a record store. But to do that, I need blocks, so let's go get some. Now, the location I picked is between my old storage room over there and the cave that you saw earlier over there. I picked it because the design I want to go for is a modern design, like the warehouse, and maybe in the future I can connect them and add more to this area. As for the palette, I want to go for a brick base with a stripped spruce and acacia second floor. But now it's time to actually build it. Okay, so let's get this out of the way. Yes, I got this from B00's video. I tried a bunch of different designs, and this one just looked the best. And so the rest of the build, I've gone and textured the brick here with some terracotta and some granite to make it look a little bit more weathered. Same with the sandstone here. Since we're in a birch forest, I've gone and built these birch trees along the road here, and some street lamps with daylight sensors. Around the back, there's a ladder that goes up to the roof. And up here, I built an air conditioning unit. And here's what it looks like from a distance. As for the interior, I want the first floor here to be the main store. So I've just put a counter and some shelves in. But upstairs, there's some more shelves, some more map art, and a lounge with a jukebox so you can kind of sit and listen to the music and look out the windows. Same with the basement down here. There's a little private lounge with some of the 2x2 map arts and 2 more jukeboxes. Before I move on, I want to take a moment to just talk about my inspiration and where the idea for this build came from. And when I was first designing it, the main thing I wanted it to be was I wanted it to feel like the record stores I go to. So that means these two big display windows here, because the record store I go to has those. Now, I talked about the second floor being based on this build by BOO. More specifically, it's the one in the Cyberpunk City on Hermitcraft. That's same with the ladder here and the air conditioning system. I got those from Scar on the last season. The last person I want to give a little shout out to is Blaze85 over on Instagram, because I initially didn't really know what kind of vibe I wanted to go for with this build, and his account just kind of pointed me in the right direction. Because if we go back, this was the initial design I had. It's way more like a bond layer than a record store or art gallery or whatever I was trying to go for, because at that point, I didn't know. But now I think it's time to tell you the real reason I decided I wanted a record store instead of a museum or an art gallery. Because when you go into a record store, they will have the album covers stuck to the wall. But that's not why you're there. You're there for the racks that you have to dig through to find what you want. And I wanted to capture that in Minecraft. But little did I know that this would send me on a week-long journey to try to figure out how to do it. The first thing I tried was using a data pack to get custom armor stands and just have them hold the map, but that just shows the map item. So the thing that I got to actually work was use an online converter to download all of the maps in the world as PNGs. Put those into a resource pack so that you can go and use a different data pack to load them into the world as items, and then you can see them when the armor stand's holding them. Have a few break and spend hours trying to figure out why they're not working. Run out of XP halfway in. And after almost a week of work, I have 72 copies of something I already have in my world. But now it's time to actually put them on the shelves, and this turned out to be a tedious process in of itself. The clip you're watching took about an hour to do, and the whole thing took almost 2 days. But it was all worth it. Now that they're all in, it looks great. I couldn't get them to align perfectly with each other, but it's just a limitation of the data pack, or at least my knowledge of it. But from the front, it looks fine. And I didn't even need to use the shelves up here, so there's way more room for expansion. But now it's time to clean up the shulker monster and take it back to my storage room. Right. But for now, that's all I can really do with it. As I finish more map arts, I'll keep filling up the walls and the shelves. If you enjoyed the video, please leave it a like. If you didn't, leave it a dislike. And if you want to see more like it, consider subscribing.